Welcome to the last episode of Tim's Antique Trains and the first episode of my grandpa's train. Why have I decided to change the name of my YouTube channel? Simply because one of my trains belonged to my grandfather, and so that makes the dedication of this channel to him. The story of that locomotive will be told when I make it to 500 subscribers, so please subscribe so you don't miss that story. There have been more updates to my train layouts, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to show everyone what's been happening here. The tunnel is finished with rocks, grass, and trees. There are 2 loops of track, and I figured out a good way to add a small yard for storing rolling stock on the country end of the layout. On the other end of the layout is my Plasticville town. Now that the tracks and buildings are mostly complete, it is time to do the electrical wiring. This will include lights in the buildings and wiring to operate accessories. Of the 3 train stations on my layout, at least 2 of them will get their own dedicated videos. Most of the scenery is complete on the American Flyer layout. I have it set up pretty much how I like it, and it will be more or less permanent this way, finally. Now, let's move on to the HO layout, which is getting a major overhaul yet again. The racetrack design was really quite terrible, and I hated to have to duck under it. Plus, it was way too cramped and narrow and did not allow any room for scenery. I should have built the table like this in the first place, but now I finally have things arranged to allow for this folded dog bone design. The unfinished section we are looking at now will be added onto with another half circle of structure which will be lowered to allow for a bridge section. Moving to the section behind hasn't changed much yet, except for the addition of a 10-inch section on the back. This will allow more room for a small town to be set up. Not much has changed in the yard here in the back, except it will be widened a bit. The other major addition is the 6-foot long by 42-inch wide turnaround, which gives plenty of room for scenery, and my roundhouse, which will finally have a permanent home. Over at my workbench, a few things have changed as well. This workbench is very special because it belonged to the previous owner of this house, who used to build model trains. In fact, before I moved into this house, I was invited to come over and help sort out boxes and boxes of model train kits. Mostly in HO scale, but several vintage O-scale 2-rail trains as well. Now I have cleaned and painted the wall behind the bench, and next to it I have set up a small table, which will be a paint booth, including an exhaust filter and vent. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this year beginning update of my grandpa's train. There are lots of videos planned and ready to go, several of which were recorded before the flyer layout was done. There's boxes of projects hiding underneath the layout as well, so please be sure to subscribe, and I will see you right here next time on My Grandpa's Train.